My mic sounds nice. Hey everyone, I am checking my mic out to make sure that it is working. But tonight it's all about controlling our story, protecting what is ours, and not letting anyone come and steal it away. And so I want to give not only the most current statistics related to the news, right? I want us to also know what we should be doing. And um yeah, so I'm going to give some techniques, some survival skills on how we can overcome what is happening. And hopefully you can hear me. I'm trying to pull, you know what, let me try to pull it up here. But while I'm doing that, hey everyone, what's up? This is Kim, aka Kim with the Gems. And on this channel, we talk all things wellness, travel, and money from a cultural perspective, from a Black woman's point of view. If you are interested in gems, yes, okay, perfect. If you are interested in these types of topics, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, become part of the Gem Nation family. We are about staying ready so we don't have to get ready. We are also about that action. And perfect. I just wanted to make sure I could hear myself. I could hear myself. Yeah, so we're about staying ready so we don't have to get ready. We're about being about that action. We're about not sleeping at the wheel and having things happen to us. Preparation is always going to win out over reacting. And so let's go ahead and get into the topic. I am pulling up a article. Oh, hi, Andrew. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome to the Gym Nation. Happy to have you here. Um, I am going to pull up an article. It's so interesting. I was supposed to do this conversation yesterday afternoon, and due to weather here, it was delayed until today. And I just checked to make sure, my stats were still statting, my numbers were still doing what it's supposed to do. And guess what? Oh, child. Two articles came out in the past day about the topic that I am going to share right now. So I'm just going to add this. I'm not going to go through the article, but I want you to see exactly what I'm talking about. This article came out a day ago. It is on the Black Enterprise website, and it's titled Black Journalists Are Being Laid Off at an Alarming Rate. Layoffs that have swept through news organizations amid a rollback of what we know is DEI efforts and initiatives. It's alarming. It is alarming. And the sad thing is, once they start to get rid of our voices, once they start to get rid of what we have to say, we should be concerned, and why we should be being prepared right now. So let's go ahead and talk about the corporate layoffs, which may, eventually turn into community silence if we are not prepared, if we are not strategic, if we are not staying ahead of the curve versus behind the curve and doing all that we need to do to protect our stories. This is the holiday season. So many of us come together and have, lots of fun conversations. This is the year to have more serious conversations. And I'm going to help you, you know, start those conversations off. And so, one of the key goals that they have is that they want to silence our community. When you read the news about how journalists of color, not just Black, but every diversity um, area you could think of that is melanated, CBS, NBC, Teen Vogue have all been affected through drastic layoffs of Black and brown people in their organization. In addition to what I just called out, NBC just shut down or gutted identity-based teams like NBC Black, NBC Asian American, NBC Latino, and I'm calling out NBC, but they're not the only ones, and NBC Out. And so there's only a handful of people to take all that information that they were cultivating and bringing to the public to now do that if it's allowed to get to the public. But we're not just going to talk from a top line, corporate news layoff, right? We are, going to understand how that can impact us, but we're going to drill it down a little. We want to make sure that our communities are protected. So yes, these national outlets are bringing down the hammer, quick, swift, hard, and fast. But we can equally, you know, dodge and weave and, get out the way if we know what's to come. And so I ask you to subscribe. I also want you to download. There's a free guide on uncomfortable conversations Black families need to have. And it is a framework, a free guide and a framework for you to ask the serious questions. And some of them are listed in what I'm about to share now. But I want you to download that so you have a guide to help you through some of these necessary conversations, because the impact is going to be, it's going to be deep. And when people who understand our needs and are willing to deliver on these needs are taken out of the fray, the coverage or the accurate coverage, right, of our communities and our not just communities, but anything related to us as a people, that's going to disappear. And I also want to qualify myself. Listen, I am a communications major, child. I worked in the media industry for decades. I started in a newsroom, ended up in on the publishing side in sales, right? And so again, understand and not just sales, but I worked in a environment where my entire job was to basically sell the valuation of Black women specifically. And the other scary thing is, just came to mind, it's not just the corporate networks that are cutting people drastically. It's also some of these Black outlets, some of these Black media outlets are having severe layoffs for different reasons, though. The reasons tend to be because now, with the cutbacks from DEI and the type of money they used to spend to support these Black-owned media outlets, they're no longer getting that type of support. And so when you think of networks that are, or media outlets that are still Black owned, from the small local paper that you may be aware of to brands like Essence or Ebony, oh yeah, no, those are going to be affected too and are being affected. And so I want us to be prepared to stay vigilant and not capitulate, in the words of my Howard sister, Letitia James. So let me see if there's anyone in here because I can't see. Oh, hey, Shell. Glad you made it. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, yeah, so basically, if they can erase us at a national level, what is going to happen to our stories at the, community level, the family and neighborhood level, or at the kitchen table, right? If we are not intentional with what we're about to do. And I want us to be super intentional, and why this topic I had to get in before everyone starts traveling. Some of you may be already traveling, but let's talk about how we can protect our stories locally, which includes our neighborhoods, which includes our churches, which includes school, whatever that framework of school looks like, and group chats, right? there are, I'll say, 3 key areas I want you to walk away from with the intention to act on. And it may sound crazy to some people, right? But as somebody who has spent her entire career in media and also understanding what is happening, it's not crazy, I promise you. So one of the things I want you to do is encourage people to treat their group chats or church announcements or Facebook groups or WhatsApp lists, right, as mini news hubs, right? Not just, did you see, some of these chats could be filled of just funny memes, right? No, no. We want to make sure that we are not ignoring the type of power that groups can have and just wasting it on laughter. I'm not saying laughter is not good for the soul, because it absolutely is, but we need to pivot and start asking, each week, what's the most impressive news story? What's the most concerning news story that you heard this week? And then sharing that, outside of that immediate group, because so many of us are in multiple, child, between the family group chats, the friends group chats, the Facebook high school chats, the college chats, all of the things. We need to be intentional to start creating what could be defined as like micro newsrooms within those areas, because we can't take for granted that everybody knows what's going on. And if you hear something that you have quantified and qualified as true, right, and factual, go ahead, drop it in. Don't overdo it, because then that's when people will tune out. But if you can do a quick weekly, like, hey, y'all, I just saw these 3 topics this week or last week over the news. I think it may be helpful, related to, healthcare premiums, related to whatever the topic is. I don't want this to be long winded. Please do yourself a favor. I know that's what I'm going to be doing in every the Flawless, the Gymnation, anything related to this platform. Oh, yeah, we're going to have a weekly, everybody's going to say something, each one teach one type session. And then also, in my outside networks as well from this platform. Also, if you know any journalists that have either been laid off or, furloughed, or whatever the buzzword is that they're calling it, um, try to encourage them to go independent. Try to encourage them to sell their services to, independent sources, so that they can continue to keep. I've already outreach to some people I know, because I want them to be part of the RAIN Society, which is all about elevating and making sure we stay ready at a higher level for serious people, right? I've already reached out to some people that I know in the industry to get them to, in 2026, be regular, like monthly contributors to the RAIN Society. Of course, this is a paid, we have to supplement their losses, but I am so excited to have some of them have the time to do it now and be interested. So if you know a journalist of color and you are part of any type of organization, rather it is work related, sorority related, church related, try to find ways to get them, because they have the skill set to report, right? They have the skill set to fact check. And so these are the type of people that we really need to approach. Or if you're on spaces like LinkedIn and you see someone, some of these people may be willing to do something complimentary. If somebody's laid off, I'm not asking them to do anything complimentary, but if it's a big enough audience where it could position them for better opportunities, maybe, listen, you just never know. So see if you can partner with a laid off or furloughed journalist in some type of way. If you have a social media platform, bring them on there, pay them for their time. If it's an hour, if you can, help out. Yeah, that. I want everyone to do one of these 3 things, right? And then I also want you to, you know, become some type of, I don't want to say journalist, right? Because that may scare people, but note taker. And we talked about the areas, right? So, note taking as it relates to what's going on, like with financial aid, right? How can you spread that? How can you spread the areas that we're going to be most impacted by you documenting what's going on? Um, and documenting could be a voice note, right, to your group. It doesn't have to be sitting there typing like you're writing for the New York Times. No, it can be a voice note. And if you're a part of a church organization, which some of us still are, even if it's like digitally, find ways to get messaging out and teaching people what's going on and how they too can get messaging out. And then I want us, so those were the three areas I wanted us to really start thinking about. But then when it comes to our family stories, listen, we need to have something like the, kitchen table media, right? Get a kitchen table family media program going, or a cooking with aunties in them, media platform going, where we are seriously offloading our stories, whatever that history looks like, right? So we're going from the national news and what is going to impact us as a community, and then we're bringing it down to what can impact us as a people, as a culture, as a family. And so I truly believe that if we don't do this, and we all have heard, right? We've all heard about the museums that are, going to lose funding. Some have already closed. We've already heard about the banning of certain books and everything. So it is beyond critical for us to absolutely, at the kitchen table, in the kitchen with mama and them, wherever, in the car ride to the family reunion, which is family reunions with us are down almost 50%, y'all. 50% since 2020. Like wherever, and that's where a lot of the stories were passed down. So we need to pivot and find other ways to share those stories and archive them. And it's super urgent because of, like I said, the rollbacks with the institutions, the um what did I mention? I said the museums, the all the funding that's been pulled back from anything related to our stories, the banning of the books. We need to find a way to fill in that gap. And so, um, if when you think about it, if we don't start to implement those things, right? And as our older generation starts to leave here, our history leaves with them. And so, please, what they say, something about the graveyard being full of dreams and untold stories, something like that. But yeah, we have to be vigilant, be intentional about recording our elders and their stories. And again, with all of the advancement in technology, so from audio, that transcribes on its own, it is so simple. So simple. And that's again why I want you to get that free resource guide. Let me see if I could put it, Abby, let me see if I could put it in the chat, y'all. Um, and then we can move on. But I'm going to put the resource guide in the chat, and then I'll, come say hi to the chat in a minute. Is this the chat? Oh, here we go. So this is the resource guide. I'm not going to label it. I'm just going to put it in. There we go. Um, And I see the chat. I see people saying hi, and so I will say hi in a second. But let's get back to, we talked about the elders, right? But in addition to the elders, we have to sit down with the younger members in our families and have these conversations about how to become storytellers and why we are sharing this information. I think I shared earlier, like I literally have a whole cookbook that, you know, I was able, well, it's not complete, but I'm putting together, I'm compiling a cookbook with recipes from my mom, my grandmother, grandmother's mother, and I am going to gift those. I was hoping to have it done by, well, hope is not a strategy. Let me not say. I didn't strategize to have it done by Christmas, but the goal was to have it done by Christmas. But then I'm being real careful because I wanted to be so beautiful, right? But if what I may do is just do one quick rough draft that's not beautiful, share it before Christmas with a note saying that the cute version will be available soon. But again, gathering that type of stuff, sharing why these recipes are so important, sharing why, this was your favorite dish growing up or whatever, but giving children, and when I say children, I mean, young adults too, but giving them assignments, right? To interview like their grandparent or an auntie or an uncle or an older cousin that, they have an endearment to, and taking notes, right? And understanding what traditions were super important to them growing up. Another case in point, I did not find out. I always thought my mother's favorite holiday was Christmas. It wasn't until 6 years ago that I found out. Actually, 6 years ago exactly. Exactly six in 2019, I found out, the end of 2019, I found out that her favorite holiday is Easter. Had no idea growing up, if I would have bet every penny that I own that my mother's favorite holiday was Christmas, and I would have been wrong. And it wasn't until we were having a conversation and we were leading up to Christmas, and then said something about it being her favorite holiday, and she clearly corrected me. And so these are the type of conversations that I wish I would have been more involved in growing up, hearing from other aunties or uncles who are no longer here. But yeah, so again, hopefully between the adults, the elders, excuse me, and the younger generation, we can form some type of bridge, right? And it can start, very easy. It doesn't have to be difficult. You can start archiving this week. You can start with an audio call with someone, a FaceTime call with them. If you have a picture that you can send someone that they've never seen before, or a or if you can go through like someone's photo albums and send pictures that family members may have never seen and didn't know existed. Like, start asking. I have been intentional. I have found I thought there were only like 5 pictures of my grandfather, right? Child, being in the South this past summer, I have about 30 now. 30 when he was in the newspaper, like um, so many more ways to remember him that I had no idea. And all I have to do was start asking. Start asking. And people are like, "Wait a minute, I got a picture of your grand," like, it's the most beautiful thing when you open your mouth, right? It's a beautiful thing when you ask and you receive. And so, we're not gonna stay here a long time. Let me see who's in the building. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm trying Faithful D. Jones, good to see you. Yes, please go ahead and hit the like button. I appreciate it. Hey, Casper 330, good to see you. Um, yeah, so again, I don't want us to be here long. I want this to actually be a quicker video so that people, when they come in, on the back end, they can just get through it quickly. But the final call to actions that I am going to share are It's going to be a simple assignment, right? It's going to challenge you to be about that action because y'all know that's what we're about over here. 3 things to do in the next 7 days is what I want you to do. So, and I'll even extend it to 14, right? Because that will cover Christmas, right? For those who celebrate or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate, I want you to follow 2 independent journalists of color. We had our game night for the Flawless community on Saturday. And we're having another one around the holidays, the end of December. We have one every month. During that game night session, I will be gifting a membership to Nubia. And that's another reason because I will be in Nubia tonight, which is if anyone follows Dr. Greg Carr or Karen Hunter on YouTube, they have a community called Nubia. And Nubia meets every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Narrative, which is their online educational platform, meets every Saturday morning. And it changes sometimes, but it's Saturday morning, 8, 9, 10 a.m. But you can catch it. When I tell you, I have gotten much, so much information from those 2 platforms. Well, I've been part of Narrative for a minute. Nubia I'm still kinda, like, new to. I'm not even in my full I haven't finished my full year, but I will that will be one of the gifts, and the value of that is $200. And I believe your lifetime, right? Oh, no, I think you may have to every year yep, you may have to upgrade every year. But just the learnings that's part of that group, I will be gifting that during the holidays because I think it's the perfect Kwanzaa gift. So I will be gifting that, but I encourage you to absolutely tune in at least on Saturdays or whenever you can catch the replays to it's Narrative with a K and Nubia with a K. So go ahead and check it out. Try to find some independent journalists or outlets of color and whatever you learn, try to share that work with your network and your general, the general public at large. Also, if you can, we kind of talked about it, start, create one at least helpful story within one of your groups. And we talked about how it can be WhatsApp groups, Substack, Facebook, whatever. And share something that you learned, right? Don't hoard it, don't hold on to it. Sometimes when I get like my mind starts going, I create a document. You could create a Google Doc, whatever platform you use, with free information to share within your group that you think because it helped you, it can help someone else, right? And I would be remiss if you have a problem being accountable with anything. I think I put it in the chat. I'm having another webinar on, I think one is on Wednesday, one is on Thursday for the SLAY 2026 accountability intensive. It's a 4-week intensive. You can go ahead, sign up for that webinar if you want to learn more about it. The links in the description to just register are available, I believe, in the description. But again, if you have no clue what I'm talking about, it's a 4-week intensive where we stop not pussyfooting around and we are strategic about whatever it is that we want to accomplish and we hold each other accountable. And so again, if you're interested in joining the free webinar, one is taking place on Wednesday, one is taking place on Thursday. Wednesday, it's in the afternoon. Thursday, it's in the evening. I will have these webinars until we either fill the spaces. I think we have one more inner circle spot left. So shout out to those who signed up already. You already received emails from me with um, what to expect. But if you're interested in the group, we'll keep that open until the end of December. I'll say December 31st. The intensive, the inner circle will be open for the next week and a half to 2 weeks because that requires more pre-work. So anyway, join the Slay community if you need help, if this is something you want to do, if you have a gift to share and you want to put it out to the world, how can you do that? Let's find a way. This is what I'm doing, right? This is what I know others, have a gift to do, but just don't know where to start. Or if it's something else, that you want a goal that you want to slay, you just don't want it to be in your journal or in your resolution book or on your dusty vision board or your digital vision board that you never look at. Like, this is about being about that action for real. It's not, listen, we sit here hope and dream about getting stuff done. It's 2026. Whoever ain't doing, listen, we gonna be passing y'all on the side of the road because unfortunately, this is where we are right now. And then also the other challenge was to record at least one conversation with an elder family member or storyteller. So it doesn't have to be blood family. It could be somebody who knows your family, who knew you growing up, who can tell stories about you, who can tell stories about your siblings. I challenge you to do that. So the 4 homework assignments, let's just call it, right? You're going to follow at least 2 independent journalists that are here for us, down for the cause. I gave y'all Karen Hunter. I gave y'all Dr. Carr, right? You can follow them or you can choose your own and follow more. Also, start one, like, send out one community type news or article topic that's relevant to us in one of your chats. Um, if you post on Facebook, if you post on any of these platforms, put it out there. Let the masses know, whatever that is. And it could be somebody who's like, oh, this is how I was able to, um, push my student loan off. Or this is, if you want to learn how to push your student loan off, check out this newsletter or check out this website. Like, these are the types of things that people don't they just don't know where to start. They have no idea how to start, and so be part of the solution. Be part of the solution because we're going to need it. And then also, you're invited to join the webinar to learn more about the Slay 4-week intensive, where we are going to, you know, put all our goals down and then strategize one by one on how to bust through them. And let me show y'all how I'm a bust through. I did want to show y'all this. This was so cute. Y'all know I'm a little creative too. So this is my little, I told y'all I create words, right? As well for the new year. One of my words, which I'll share with everyone, is disruptive. I'm this no time for fake ones, no time for games. 2026, from a financial, from a spiritual, from an emotional, all of those areas, you're going to see disruption. But if you, those who are prepared for the disruption will fare better. And so if you are ready to slay in 2026, listen, join the Strategic Life Accountability Intensive. I do these spurts often throughout the year. Even if I'm not teaching, I have my 4-week, 28-day accountability challenges that I do. That was the former name of Slay, 28-day accountability challenge. It is now called Slay. Go ahead. The link is in the description. Sign up for the webinar, learn more about it. Everybody will get their own little avatar to, put on their phones to make sure that they reminded every day. This is all part of strategy, and all of our strategies are based in the art of war. And so I want you to do whatever it is you need to do to get ready for 2026. And so that's my little avatar that I thought was so cute. I love it. I love it. I love it. See my little Afro puff that I usually have. So I'm super excited about the Slay community. And oh, thank you so much, Shell. I try. Listen, it ain't easy. It ain't easy, but it's necessary, right? And so I want, and you slay too. Listen, let's call. If that's not the pot calling the kettle, as they would say, you are the slay dragon. Congratulations to all your action moves, girl. You have done it. But again, if you are in here, hit the like button. Go ahead, share this information with a friend or family member. But more than ever, more than anything, we are going to take control of our stories, our legacy, our information, and not just fall not just fall back. Now we're just not going to fall down, and we're not going to live in fear. We are not going to live in fear. We are going to find communities that give us the strength to keep marching, to keep moving forward without the level of fear that they want us to have, because fear is how they win, and we ain't going to let them win. We ain't gonna let them win. So I thank you one, thank you all for joining tonight. Go ahead, be about that action. Check out the news articles. Guardian it was in the Guardian and it was in Black Enterprise. I'll show you the Guardian real quick too. They're independent. Guardian. But I thought their article was real good, and I want to share this real quick before we say goodbye, because they definitely brought up some key points, because this is not an accident, y'all. No matter, and it's not okay. So, this is the article. It's not a coincidence. Journalists of color are being laid off amid Grump's anti DEI push. But one thing that she called out, oh, am I not in my? Okay, there we go. One thing she called out, this right here. Part of their agenda is to, let's be real, not just get rid of DEI initiatives, but diversity in and of itself. Oh, that was from Trey. Sorry. The person who wrote the article is Melissa Hellman. This came out yesterday. I had this topic ready to go last week. Like, this is, I'm telling you, God's divine alignment. It talks about Black and brown former employees from CBS, NBC, and Teen Vogue talking about the effects of being let go. And like I said, it's not just the big corporate media houses, it's also the smaller Black owned media houses that will be a byproduct of what's happening now because of the lack of funding. And so it does say that Hollywood studio Skydance in August, well, they slashed more than 2,000 jobs as part of corporate restructuring. But if you were Black or brown, the chances that you were part of that restructuring was much greater than if you weren't. And so again, you could check out these articles when you get a chance. Like I said, it's on Guardian, and the name of this one is It's Not a Coincidence, Journalists of Color Are Being Laid Off. Or you could check out the Black Enterprise article. So again, that's all I got for tonight. I thank you so much for hanging out. What's tomorrow? Tuesday. Tuesday is I may come live. I have an event tomorrow evening. If I can record from there, I am going to. It starts early in the evening. I want to say 5:00. But if I can't record live, I'll take some video and then come back with it later live. But anyway, thank you for tuning in, everyone. Have a good night, and I will see you hopefully tomorrow. And go do something. Go do something now to make sure we protect our stories. Take care. Bye.